The 2 p.m. update is in for Hurricane Dorian, and not much has changed. The winds are still at 150 miles per hour. It's continuing to move to the west very slowly at 8 miles per hour, so the storm's still about 200 miles to the east of the Bahamas, so it is expected to head that direction over the next couple of days or so, and that is where we are seeing the hurricane warnings in effect for the northern Bahamas and a hurricane watch in effect for the western Bahamas. But here in the United States, we do not have any watches or warnings in effect for Florida or any other part of the southeast. We'll continue to watch that. I don't suspect that we'll get any warnings at least for another 24 hours or so for the United States. So here is Dorian, gusts upwards of 185 miles per hour. Here's the track. Again, same thing we dealt with at the 11 a.m. hour, continuing as a Category 4 storm over the next couple of days. Monday morning just to the east of Florida, still a Category 4. The current track does keep it off the coast with still a strong hurricane, Category 3 at Wednesday morning's winds of 115 miles per hour, and the cone still does extend into the coast of Florida, so if it does make landfall, it's not out of the question, but models are trending to keep it out to sea, and that is what the forecast of the National Hurricane Center is. And then it continues to ride up the coast, continuing to decrease in strength slowly. A Category 2 storm is still no joke, but as it hugs the coast, it does lose a lot of that fuel that it needs to stay a healthy storm, so that is a good thing that it will decrease. Unfortunately, it could bring a lot of rainfall, some gusty winds, maybe even some storm surge to the coastal regions. We're talking Wednesday into Thursday and up potentially into Friday as we head a little more north into North Carolina. And I'll show you the spaghetti plots for this storm, and they have been trending towards the east a little bit over the past couple of days, and that is a good sign. The further east they push, the less impacts we are going to have here across the southeast. And this is the cone of uncertainty from the National Hurricane Center as well. They do align fairly well. The spaghetti models, each one of these strands is a different computer model and its solution towards where the storm is going to go. So we have fairly good consensus down here over the next 2 days where the models are super close together. Once we get over the next couple of days beyond that, it does get a little more questionable. We do start to see a little more spread there with the models, but again, they have been trending to the east, which is good news for us here in the Midlands. Of course, they could change and they could be wiggling around over the next couple of days. So we will keep an eye on the track and what models are suggesting. But again, currently it looks like coastal regions do need to be on alert over the next couple of days. This is two different models. In blue, we have the GFS. In orange, we have the European model, two global models that we use to watch these storms and help predict where they are going to go. So by Monday at 8 p.m., the GFS is a little farther along with this storm. It does place it a little farther north of off central Florida, with the European model a little south below that, both within the cone of uncertainty for Monday evening. So we step this forward into Tuesday and Wednesday. This is Wednesday 5 p.m. You can see GFS a little farther along, closer to the South Carolina coast, with the European model still off the Georgia, Florida coast. We head into Wednesday evening, and then both systems have, or both models I should say, have these systems riding the coast. You can see there's the centers just off the coast of North Carolina. This is Thursday 4 p.m. and again, this is not an exact path that is going to take. These are just two ideas that we do need to take into consideration. And you can see Thursday 4 p.m. both these models are still within the cone of uncertainty, so the National Hurricane Center is in agreement of this general path, but again, it's still early to tell where the exact biggest impacts are going to be. We do have some guesses. These are the chances for tropical storm force winds, and these chances extend all the way from West Palm Beach up through Charleston at the moment. So brushing up against the low country, we could be seeing some gusty winds, especially as we head into Wednesday and Thursday for the South Carolina coast. Winds, tropical storm force winds. Those are winds about 35 to 74 miles per hour. So again, it could create some minor damage to some of these coastal communities should these winds actually that are forecast come into play. And here we will show you two different rainfall forecasts as well. This is the GFS through Friday, and you can see the coastal regions really getting the most of the rain, just under 10 inches of rain for some communities. And then the further west you go, look how tight that gradient is. Only a fifth, 100th, 5/100th of an inch in Charlotte, only 0.34 inches of rain in Columbia, while Charleston could get upwards of 9. And this is just one model. Again, this is the GFS. That is the idea that it has. We'll go to the European model. see what it is thinking as well. And it's along the same track, maybe a little less, but still about 8 inches for Wilmington, Myrtle Beach, and Charleston. So the beaches, those areas are where we need to be on the highest alert right now. And again, this model has Columbia only getting about ½ an inch of rain, which is not something we can't handle. But again, it would be something that we'll need to just keep an eye on. Rain, gusty winds, maybe even some storm surge for those down along the coast as well. So key messages for this system. We are going to continue to get more information, so make sure you're paying attention to reliable sources. We'll always have the most up-to-date information here at WLTX. Also make sure to follow the National Hurricane Center, your local weather service office. They will also have the latest information, and everyone in the southeast needs to watch this closely. As the storm does approach our coast, we will learn more as we get more hurricane hunters into that storm. We're continuing to learn more about it, and we'll better be able to forecast where it goes. And finally, this forecast will continue to change. There's going to continue to be wiggles to the path, so make sure you are staying on track with all of that and just have a plan in place should we need to get to go time. But for now, I'm meteorologist Danielle Miller.